Welcome to 3D Boxing Podcast. I got the dream team in place. I got a hell of a crew right here. I got Johnny from Johnny Says. I got Chilltown Boxing in here. We got the perfect team here to break down a card that is really hard to gamble. It's really hard to bet. This is a difficult card to bet, so I wanted this dream team on to discuss it and get their thoughts on it. Because there's money to be made here, but it's tough. Like, I'm looking at all these fights. Well, it could end in a knockout. Fighter A could win. Fighter B could win. It could go the distance. I don't know. It's a really difficult triple header to bet. Johnny, introduce yourself, and then we'll get you Chilltown and we'll get started.
Yeah, what's up, guys? If Johnny Says Boxing on YouTube. I live in Australia. It's 5 a.m. Wednesday morning right now. Tuesday night where you guys are, and we got Japan starting in a couple hours. And, like you said, Gary, I think this is one of those cards, especially the 3 world title fights, if we're just going to focus on those 3, that second guessing is probably part of the norm going into fight night because of the matchups and then the odds Vegas has put on us. Some of them, in my opinion, probably wider than they should be. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk to you boys about it. So thanks for having me on.
Chilltown, it's good to have you here. Not a stranger to the show. Love having you on. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Johnny. You can find me right here. All right, come on. Thanks for the invite, Gary. And Johnny, nice to have you on. Love chopping it up with boxing. It's hard. I always say this. It's hard to find. It's like boxing's so niche. It's hard to find like hardcore boxing fans to actually talk boxing, especially Americans. Usually find them in other countries, but America, it's like a rare breed. So glad
you
to
can find
him
in England. You can find him in Puerto Rico for sure, but finding them here in the States, it's tough.
Mexico,
man.
Philippines, definitely. But like to find, some hardcore American fans, especially we're going to be talking about the Japanese card. It's a beautiful thing.
Nice.
I remember years ago being in Scotland and just being at a bar in Glasgow, and like the way that we talk about football or basketball is how they talk about boxing. Like the average person, the average sports fan, like was aware of what was going on. It was such a beautiful thing. We don't really have that here in the States, but
it's completely different.
James Arath wants to know how to follow you. How does he follow you on Twitter? It's Chilltown Boxing on Twitter, right?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I just do predictions on there. I give out picks sometimes, but mostly just boxing predictions.
All right, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow 3D Boxing, 3D Boxing blog, at all forms of social media. Guys, join the Patreon if you have not. Link is in the description. It's also pinned. It's also pinned in the chat. And take a blow. Just $5 a month. Get you all the absolute best gambling advice anywhere in the known boxing universe. Get you a lock of the week, which we're going to work out a lock today. We're going to figure out a lock that we can agree on here today, guys. Get you the live betting updated props. We get all the best gambling advice for just $5 a month. So make sure to join the Patreon. Link is in the description. Guys, please also like and subscribe if you have not already. All right, you guys ready to get into it? I'm going to pull up the book. I've done my breakdown on all 3 of these fights. This is not easy, and these Japanese cards have been the bane of my existence. I've lost money on these cards. I swore them off, but I'm looking at this card. I'm like, we can make money. Let's start. What fight do you guys want to start? You want to start with the main event? You want to start with Kenshiro?
Sure.
All right. Kenshiro and Ricardo Sandoval. To me, I want to say this is the easiest one to pick. But even at that, I like Kenshiro. I probably like him by decision. I think he's the classier fighter. He doesn't move his head much, which scares the hell out of me. He gets hit a lot, which I don't like. But I think Kenshiro can win this fight from the outside. He can use his length and his skills from the outside, and he can keep Sandoval there. Sandoval doesn't jab his way in as much as I'd like, and he kind of gets stuck at times on the outside where he can't get in. What are you guys' thoughts on this, and break down the Kenshiro-Sandoval fight? Johnny, you want to start?
Yeah, good call on that. So this is the way you set this matchup up is perfectly. Now, I just want to go over the odds real quick in Australia. The odds makers force us on my betting apps to go 3-way. So on the money line, favorite dog, and then the draw. So Kenshiro is $1.24. 100 gets you $24. The draw 16-1. Sandoval's almost a 5-1 dog. Now, going into my breakdown and film study, Sandoval, in my opinion, I thought he was a super live dog. his record looks good when you watch how he fights. And then I was breaking down his tape, watching the weigh-ins. He's listed as the bigger guy because I was thinking he's going to be the longer guy. He's going to be the taller guy. He's going to be the younger guy. And then we have to remember, Teraji is a pound-for-pound guy. Teraji is 33, Sandoval's 26. So I was battling with how is this going to be the fight Teraji shows us his age. We know about the lighter weight classes. And sometimes overnight we see a guy looks a certain way and then all of a sudden they don't. I don't know if that's going to be this fight against Sandoval. He's never been stopped. Taraji's gotten stopped once. He redeemed that loss. Before we get into the fancy predictions, I think Taraji's class though is a level above. It's hard to get past who he's fought. It's hard to give sort of when you take the youth on Sandoval's side, it's hard to give him, in my opinion, the nod here coming into Japan and winning this fight. That's just how I see it. I think Taraji's class, what he does, how he goes about his business and operating, is just classier. He does get hit a lot, but that's these Japanese guys. They fight brave on the front foot. Sometimes it works for him, sometimes it doesn't. I'm hoping durability won't be an issue here.
He's carried his power late. He's gotten late knockouts in his last two fights with Akui and Christopher Rosales. The Christopher Rosales fight was a masterpiece. He dominated him, won every round, and then stopped him in the 11th. The Akui fight was a war. I think he made life more difficult than he had to. And then prior to that, he may have gotten away with one over Carlos Canizales back in early 2024. Let me switch it over to TJ. So you're with me. You're taking. We'll get into the methodology in a minute, but you're taking Kenshiro to win the fight, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I am. I do want to mention one last thing before TJ gets it, is that why my caution is because of his last performance against Akui. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, he took. We'll see if that shows up. We'll see if that damage shows up. We won't know until we see. But yeah, you're right. He got hit a lot. He always gets hit a lot.
Which is why you get a lot of upsets. This is why I hate. I have a saying: great fighters don't get hit a lot. You can go through the annals of boxing history. Great fighters don't get hit a lot. These guys get hit a lot. That's why you get these upsets on these cards, and they're hard to pick. And you can't. Are they going to go the distance? Are they going to end early? But TJ, give me your breakdown on Kenshiro and Sandoval.
Just disclaimer for everyone. I'm not a tipster. I don't give out tips or betting advice. Follow Gary and Johnny, all right? I'm going to give you my breakdown on this. I'll start with Ricardo Sandoval. El Nino, right? El Nino came on my radar when he was scheduled to fight a fighter named Jay Harris. He's from Wales. Very world-class Welsh fighter. And he was flying over to the UK. He wasn't fighting in Wales, but he was fighting over in the UK. I said, let me take a look at this kid, Ricardo Sandoval. So I taped him. He looks like a babyface assassin. The first thing that jumped out at me was his body work. Yo, this kid has nasty body work, and he has some real crafty footwork, right? He can shuffle in and out of the pocket. Almost like a poor version of Bam, but if you ever watch Ricardo's footwork, he can shuffle. He sidesteps, and he opens up. He has openings for body work. His body work is world class. I love this kid's body work. So I ended up taking him off that tape to beat Jay Harris. He was a big underdog. I think he was like plus 300. Not a big underdog, but an underdog for a lesser known fighter. And he ended up stopping Jay Harris in like the 8th or 9th round with a body shot. So that really put me on to Sandoval. He then went on later to fight David Jimenez, who's Costa Rican fighter, world class. And that's a fight, I'll be honest with you, I watched it again the other day because I backed him the first time to beat him. And I thought he won that the first time. I retaped it, and I thought he won that too. I thought he got real unlucky with the David Jimenez fight. So since that, he really hasn't beat anybody notable, but he's been waiting for his title shot, which now comes against Kenshiro Teraji. And Teraji, we all know he's going to be a Hall of Famer, is a Hall of Famer. And I went back, I did a deep dive into his last few fights. He's only hit 112, a couple of fights ago. So starting with Carlos Gonzalez, I watched that fight last night. He didn't win that fight. I had a clear 7-5 for Carlos Gonzalez. So I'm asking myself, and that was at 108. Is Carlos Gonzalez, is he better than Sandoval? I think they're pretty tier on, So he beat Christopher Rosales, great win, but then he fought Akui. Now, That fight, he pulled that one out. I had Okui 7 rounds up going into the 12th. He needed that knockout, in my opinion. He went to the well one more time, Kenshiro Teraji. And man, I'm really playing this in my head. How far, he's obviously on the slide, Teraji. He's 33, which is very old for this weight class. If he got lucky against Carlos Gonzalez, which I think he did, I think he got lucky against Okui. He pulled that 12th round knockout. How many more times is this guy going to get lucky? Is he going to get lucky against Ricardo Sandoval? And Sandoval, he opened at a plus 600, which is absolutely insane. Those odds were completely off. If you notice today, I don't know what the odds are, but they're all shifting in to Sandoval's favor. Kenshiro's also been talking about fighting Bam Rodriguez at 115 pounds. That's a big red flag for me. I really think this could be a 50-50 fight, and I think I'm going to edge the youth and the hunger. Ricardo Sandoval, I think he's going to spring a massive upset here. I think he's going to beat Kenshiro Teraji in a close fight. And the scorecards are fair in Japan. Unlike, say, a Yoet and Brandon Figueroa, where if that's in Japan, 10 times out of 10, Yoet Gonzalez is getting that fight. So yeah. I think we're going to get fair scorecards. And I don't think, outside of Teraji stopping Sandoval, I think Sandoval's going to put some body work on him. And if he can get around Teraji's jab, which it seemed like Carlos Gonzalez didn't have a problem with, I think Sandoval can win this fight. And one thing that you pointed out, which needs to be said here, Gary, this is beautiful. Great fighters don't get hit. The straight right hand, it doesn't miss against Teraji. He was eating it against Okui, eating it against Gonzalez, and that's one of Sandoval's best punches is that straight right hand. He just throws it. He doesn't use the jab too much. That's one of my biggest knocks on him, but he throws a straight right hand beautiful, and he's going to be landed all night. So I don't know, man. Since this fight was announced, I was like, this could definitely be a banana peel for Teraji. He's been lucky. How many more times is he going to get lucky here? And I think his luck might run out tomorrow morning. I got Sandoval for the upset.
I want to just push back. You're right. The Canizales fight, he probably got the benefit of the doubt. That fight was in Japan. You're right. Japan gives fair decisions. Like, the only one I can think of that was unfair in recent memory.
Real quick, this was important. From round 8 to 12, Teraji lost every round. I didn't give him one round from that. And in the 12th round, which I've never seen before, he ran around the ring. He refused to engage. He was scared to engage in the 12th round. This was Teraji. I'm watching this, and I'm just picturing if Sandoval's in it. He's losing this fight. That version of Teraji comes in, he's going to lose the fight. So, and that was against a 108-pounder.
You asked, you made two. You do get fair decisions in Japan. The only unfair decision I can think of in recent memory is Kaz Ioka and Josh Franco, the first one. Franco clearly won that fight. And they gave it to Ioka. But other than that, when Japanese fighters have won close decisions, they've gotten close decisions. When they've lost close decisions, they've lost close decisions. And there hasn't been, outside of Ioka Franco 1, I can't think of another egregious decision that favored the Japanese fighters.
Puma Ioka, I thought there was a great, if that's in another country, Ioka's winning that rematch. I'm surprised they actually gave it to Puma. They're too fair. If it's a close round, the Japanese are so honorable. They're like, we don't want favoritism. We'll give it to if it's a split round. They almost give it to the challenger coming in. And one other point on this, Teraji, after that war, because he's been in wars, after that war with Gonzalez, with Carlos, he took almost 9 months off. He's only has 4 months off from the Okui fight. That was a massive battle. By the way, that was a fight of the year contender. One of the fights of the year was 2025 for me. If you guys didn't watch that fight, that was a phenomenal fight. He only had 4 months off. So he's going almost right into a training camp against Ricardo Sandoval from that. Oh, I don't know, man. That's not enough time. I really think there's so many things in Sandoval's favor going into this.
You asked another question: is Sandoval as good as Canizales? I would say a resounding no, but I guess we can just agree to disagree on that, right?
I thought he beat David Jimenez. David Jimenez is at least as good, if not better, than Carlos Gonzalez. They had similar styles. I mean, he's also bigger. So, Sandoval's a legitimate 112-pounder.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I know the weight classes are different, but it's only 4 pounds. If Canizales fought I'm losing my brain here. If Canizales fought El Nino at 112 or 108. I don't 112. Let's say the 4 pounds aren't going to matter much to me. You would take Sandoval in that fight. You would take El Nino over Gonzalez.
Probably. I think it's a close fight. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, there's nothing special with Carlos Gonzalez. It's not like he has great feet. He just throws power punches, and he has a good chin. He was able to take everything that Teraji threw at him, but he just kept coming forward. He doesn't have great defense either. He ate a ton of shots. There was nothing that he did special.
All right. Then we're gonna I still think Teraji. I know what you're saying. He's 33. He's coming off a war. I still think he's a level ahead. And I'm not saying Sandoval can't win. But on my confidence radar.
Do you think Sandoval is going to? Where I was hesitant on this one though, is like you said, the fair judging is a very valid point. That's why I actually like the Japanese cards. When you think about their fighters though, output in to win, so you're saying Sandoval stops him, or are you saying Sandoval wins on decision? Because if that's going to be the case, you're going to think he's going to outwork Teraji.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's been, like I just named his last 3 fights. I thought he was down on the cards twice. He would have lost.
Okay.
I thought.
Do you like the fight to go over? Do you like it to go over 10
Yeah,
and a half?
Because I do like the distance.
I do.
I think like the distance in this fight, though. I
like the over. I like the over the distance, and I think it could be a split decision either way. I mean, if you want to play a split decision, majority decision prop, I don't think that's a bad bet either.
We're gonna take the over. We all agree on the over.
Agree. We literally that's exactly what I was thinking too. It's just it's a coin flip on which way it goes. So
I wanted to get into this next one because Eric Rosa is an interesting case study to me. He came up, he's about the same age as Bam. I think he's a couple of months younger. He was 105 when Bam was 108 and 112. Mm-hmm. And when Bam won his first world title, we'll bring him down to 112. He'll fight Rosa. It'll be a great little man fight. And a lot of people were really, really high on Eric Rosa at that time. I think for a moment he was actually the youngest world champion. He won a world title shortly after Bam did. And he was, I think, by a couple months, the youngest world champion. I think Rosa was so overrated. And now he's so underrated. I'm not going to pick him to win this fight. I'm going to pick Takami. But I think at plus 475, you got to think twice. I would not bet on Takami in this fight. I don't. At minus 750, I think that's insane. You got to bet $750 on Takami to beat Rosa. I think he should be minus 250. This is a very competitive fight to me where I'm going to take Takami. I think he's going to win. I think he would win 3 times out of 4. But at plus 475, and I'll start with you, TJ, what are your thoughts on Rosa? And is there value there? Is it a value play to take Rosa at plus 475, which I think is insane?
Yeah, so this is the thing with Eric Rosa. He has a better resume than Takami, right? He's got a ton of 12-round experience. I believe his opponent's only been the 8th round or past. But this is why it's important not to just look at the records and you actually watch tape on him. And the word that screams out to me is lazy. Eric Rosa is lazy. That is a horrible trait to have. Horrible trait. And let me explain that. He'll be comfortably ahead because he has a superior skill set going into this, right? He's got great hand speed, great combination punching. He's got great defense when he's
great feet. He hits his angles, right? Yeah.
But he allows opponents to gain confidence and momentum by, 1, not sitting on his punches, 2, having a lapse in defense, not being focused. And this is where the laziness comes from, right?
I'm looking at my notes here, TJ. I have all this in my notes. Everything you're saying here, if you go watch my video, I got here. He squares up. He gets lazy. He looks unmotivated. Yeah, I got all this in my notes.
He's been dropped in DR before where they called it a slip because he's in DR. It wasn't. He's allowing, which is one of the most dangerous things. These aren't world level fighters. He's allowing these fighters to gain momentum and confidence to come back in the second half of the fight where he's taking serious shots. Now, if it's against a world level opponent, dude, he's going to get stopped. You cannot, if you're fighting like that against, say, C, B level opponents, you step up against an A level opponent, you're going to get exposed. And that's at 105. The size difference is big here. And as much as I want to take Eric Rosa, because I took him early in a parlay. I think he's plus 500. I have him and Sandoval. If they hit, I'm gonna win $90,000, and I got a nice cash out right now, and I'm thinking about cashing out because I'm thinking Rosa's getting stopped here. I don't think this laziness is gonna change. He eats heavy shots. He starts to fade. he would really have to sweep the early rounds. I think the size difference and the fact that he doesn't have power. I think once his opponent feels, and I've seen this before, his opponents feel that he's just pity-pattying shots. He sits down on nothing. He gets no respect from his opponents. And once he starts dropping his hands, he's going to eat some heavy shots against a serious puncher. I think Takami's going to have his number here.
So you would you be willing at minus 750? Is it worth rolling him in your parlay, or would you take him by stoppage? I'll give you the line I have on stoppage.
What is that?
I got Takami by stoppage is minus 110, so it's basically even. Is that a bet you take?
Minus 110. That could be, yeah. I mean, it's a 12-round fight. This is my problem. Every time it's so frustrating watching because he won't let his hands go. There's times he has opponents on the ropes. He just lets them off the hook. And the opponent knows that, and they gain confidence back in. Takami is going to eat this up. He's got heavy power. It's going to be the heaviest hitting puncher. He looks at least 2 weight classes bigger. I think he might step on him. You know, once Rosa starts to tire, he's going to be in for a long night. That laziness is going to be his undoing here. Yeah.
Let me bring Johnny in. Johnny, Takami, he doesn't have a hell of a resume. He's only got 9 fights. Yes, he's looked like a killer in all 9 of those fights. He's looked like an A-plus fighter. But I would question the level of opposition. I would also say Rosa was so overrated that he's now completely underrated. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's kind of like, how much do you want to give? I don't like giving precedence to storied amateur careers when they turn pro. Some fans do, some bettors do. Because on his box rec, if you're unaware, people have been hitting me up about Rosa. I'm like, dude, he had, almost 400 amateur fights in the Dominican. And I think as a pro, he kind of gets stuck in between, like TJ said, that amateur, he doesn't sit on anything, his power. But he's, stuck in between styles. And, I don't know if the killer instinct, I don't know, man. When you level up, they're comparing Takami, at least when you're reading the Japanese blogs, they think he might be the next guy. I don't, do you want to compare him to Teraji? He's only 23 years old, I think.
He gets hit a lot. One thing I noticed in his last fight, he ate some heavy shots. But
Takami?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, mate, there's obviously the influx in Japanese boxing. I mean, that's why I'm hesitant, because I wasn't one of these guys. Just go back what we just saw with Sasaki. They get these big records. They're super aggressive. And then it works until it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Rikishi. So I'm always hesitant with these matchups with, he only has 9 fights, 7 stoppages. That looks sexy. He is the bigger dude. You guys are almost talking me into the stoppage, but I actually like the odds right now on the cards for Takami. I'm getting him at plus 255 to win a decision, Takami. So, but I have him on the money line. I think he's going to be too much work rate. The optics, how rounds look as well. You talked about the fairness of the judges scoring the rounds, but also you should mention what they take into consideration is how the fighter fights. You know what I mean? That what does the round look like? Are they running? Are they on the front foot? So you see a lot of these Japanese fighters fight a certain way. Yeah. So I like Takami. I think he's going to be too much, but I am hesitant a bit.
What I found interesting is when I looked this up, you look at him and you think Rosa is going to be at a major reach disadvantage. They both have the same reach, 65 inches. So Takami's actually, I know he's 5'6", but he's actually got a -1 wingspan, whereas Rosa's got it also has a 65-inch wingspan, even though he's 3 inches shorter. I just think
how's his jab? Do you like Takami's jab, guys?
I love Takami's jab. Okay, I think.
You know what I mean? That's what some guys use the reach, some guys don't use the reach. Stylistically, I mean, yeah, I had that in my notes. I don't know.
I think Rosa expends a lot of energy early. I think that 9 to 12 is going to be real sweaty.
Nice.
Real sweaty.
I think he's going to get.
He always fades down. He looks exhausted. Rosa always looks exhausted.
Changes.
I've got that. Volume drops, gas tank issues. I got that. You're hitting all my talking points, TJ.
And his style, you're right. His style collapses.
He's stuck in the amateur, that point scoring system, which is high energy, but it's great when you're doing 3 rounds for 2 minutes. But now, I said that with Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. Caleb Plant has that great, almost amateur style, but you can't sustain that for 12 rounds. It's a high energy style. And then the guy that's heavy handed, that's not using a lot of energy, just marching forward with a good chin, because Takami's got a good chin. He's going to eat everything Rosa has. He's going to walk you down. He's the bigger, stronger guy. At what point are you going to fail? So, I'm just, I talked myself out of Rosa.
So we all like Rosa on the money line. I guess, is it worth, for me, I have him at minus
Takami.
750. I mean, Takami. Yeah, we all like Takami.
Is he?
I just don't like the value on it. I don't like the price on it. Minus 750. That's awfully wide to me.
Will the fight go the distance? Do you have that option?
Yeah. That's very high.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that. To go the distance, minus 115. Not to go the distance, minus 115. And I'm torn on that too. Like I think it could go the distance, or like TJ said, Rosa, who fades late in every fight, might get stopped late in this fight. Like that is possible too. I don't like the over. I don't like the distance. I don't like the over under on this. Like I don't have a feeling one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't think we might be overthinking it.
I want to get your thoughts on the last one, TJ. Because Johnny, because you got to split soon. Right? Or do you have a few minutes?
Yeah, I got about 13 minutes.
All right,
to be specific.
I'm gonna get to you. Let me get to you on this. And this to me is gonna. This has the potential to be the fight of the year. I'm so excited for this fight. I wanted to save it for last. This is the one where I'm gonna call the upset. Vargas and Higa. I got Vargas at plus 210. Higa at minus 275. Yeah. I know you got to go soon, so give me your thoughts on Vargas and Higa.
Yeah, I talked about this in my breakdown on my channel. I had to do it. Antonio Vargas is one of my favorite fighters to watch. He is. There's a lot to like about him. How he goes about his business, how he carries himself, how he,
Why?
The interesting thing. What's up? The interesting thing about
Vargas,
I
just said why. That's really random.
Yeah. But only because I was watching him over the last few years. One of my buddies from where I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, he has he knows about one of his coaches. He sends me his tape like 2 years ago. I saw the knockout in 2019, and the knock on Vargas could also be the props on Vargas. People are like, yeah, he's chinny. We've seen him get dropped before. That stopped. It was 6 years ago. He was a baby, 2019, but that's still a bad knockout. You can say that, and his boxing acumen, though, what he does, how he moves around the ring, how he operates, his punch placement, his decision-making. But when I rewatched Dago Higa, when I reminded myself who Higa, I thought Higa was like 35, 36 years old. I mean, he seems like he's been around forever. And then you're looking at, like, the styles. When Higa struggles, I think Higa struggles a couple times with a couple southpaws, guys who aren't pushing the pace forward, guys are kind of on the back foot. That's not Vargas. Vargas is on the front foot. And to be brief, I totally flip-flopped. I was like, I don't know if this fight is as close as I thought it was going to be. I initially was all over Antonio Vargas in this fight. And then watching how, Higa on the front foot, once again, he gets hit a lot. He wants to put his head on your chest and throw those kind of hooks over the top. And Vargas plays that game. It's a game of bravery. It's sort of a game of pride. And I don't know if he can win that battle against Higa. And I'm taking Higa to win this fight. And I think if Vargas doesn't make sort of like adjustments in fight, I think he might get stopped. So that's where I'm at right now.
Damn.
What do you like?
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. He did just get signed to Matchroom. This is a Matchroom card. So for everybody listening, Matchroom just signed Antonio Vargas. Could be a reason why money's now flowing last minute to him. Look, Antonio Vargas, his last two fights, he's been dropped in both fights. Winston Guerrero in the second round, badly. And then he was dropped by Jonathan Rodriguez badly. And then later on in that fight, he was buzzed badly. Yeah. And Jonathan Rodriguez, I want to say, like, respectfully, I think he's like a Pennsylvania Northeast kind of like area club fighter. He's not a contender. Yeah, he's a regional guy. He's a step below Joseph Adorno. Joseph Adorno with that good left hook, Puerto Rican background, same as Jonathan Rodriguez. But, these guys, if they were to step up to who Higa just fought recently, and Takai and Tasumi, bro, they're wiping the floor with them, So he's certified world level. You see he's competitive. I didn't think his last fight was a draw. That was scored incorrectly. I had him clearly losing that. But he was competitive, right, against Tasumi. This is the thing that's really bothering me with Higa, is that after the Takai fight, that he lost, he announced his retirement. Guy's only 29. Now this week he's saying that if he loses, he's going to retire in the ring. Like, if you're 29, why are you even thinking about retirement? That's almost an automatic pull of a bet for me. I don't like that. You should be saying, I'm going to beat Vargas, and then I got the next guy, right? That's it. You shouldn't even be thinking about retirement. And he can get outworked. I think Higa can get outworked. There's times where he just loads up. He loads up on too many shots, praying for that big overhand right, which could have success, or a nice left hook. But there's times where there's just inactivity in rounds where he's just chasing. And now you're going to be down on the scorecards. So what if Vargas's chin holds up? If Vargas's chin holds up, he weathers the early storm, and Higa's just trying to chase, Vargas got good output. There's one thing I'll say. Even though he's untested, he's got good output. So there's a way where he could win on points at plus 500. But there's a way where Higa is the better fighter here, and he can clip Vargas, who is chinny. The one thing I'll give Vargas, though, is that every time he's been chinned down recently, he's gone back up and came back to win. So this is a real good clash of styles, man. I personally pulled I had a Alexander Zayas Higa bet. Higa originally opened at minus 200. I cashed down earlier today. I didn't like what I was hearing and seeing from Higa. Not to say he's not going to win. I still slightly favor him, but I had a big money bet. I had a nice cash on it because Zayas won, and I'm not as confident as I was. And I personally will say this. I think that Higa was plus money at the knockout, and Vargas is plus money on the decision. So that could be two good areas of value to look at.
I was hoping I was going to get a prop for either fighter to be knocked down because I would have been all over that, right? But I don't have a prop. I don't have any knockdown props on this. And to me, Higa hasn't been able to. You said he got lucky to get a draw with Sasumi. I thought a draw was reasonable. I thought the fight was really, really close. But he hasn't gotten over. Like, to me, Higa is a B+ fighter. He's gonna lose to all the top-notch fighters and beat everybody else. And so the question becomes, where does Vargas fit in? I think we're going to find out a lot about Vargas' chin. There's a lot of people who say, his chin is highly questionable. He's been dropped. He's been stopped. But I want to put that stoppage in perspective. That stoppage was on the undercard of Jamel Herring versus Ito. So that was so long ago. Herring wasn't even a world champion yet.
Let me tell you guys something, too, for anybody, like just a little advice. If there's ever a first-round knockout or a first-round stoppage, you either get knocked down or the stoppage, you completely ignore it. The first rounds, someone gets a first-round stoppage or they get knocked down. Ignore it. Yeah, you can't put any weight into that. I don't even recognize that. I'm going off the last 2 or 3 fights and how they're looking. It's always how good are you in your last fight going into this fight. So I'm not even worrying about that first-round stoppage. That can happen to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, so the only issue with that, though, to push back on that is that first he was unconscious. So when you're looking at the neurology of the brain, see if you look at because no boxer, no fighter is going to be like, I want to get knocked out. That shit happens without us realizing it's your brain giving you security. The damage is too much. Boom, lights go out. So there's instances of when that happens with fighters who used to be super durable. All of a sudden they get touched.
So you're correlating it. Okay, yeah. So you're correlating it to punch resistance, which I completely agree. Then, that's I'm just saying if someone gets caught cold or you catch someone cold, not to put too much weight into it, but exactly. Yeah, the punch resistance could absolutely be effective.
I was equating it to more of like a neurology thing,
which would make sense because he wasn't handling the shots well when he was getting touched by Rodriguez and Winston Guerrero, and that's completely in the realm of Higa. He's going to touch that chin. How is he going to react? The hardest punch by far he's been in with.
It's interesting, man. This card, if I put it this way, if I would have sat in my place down here in Australia and not talked to anybody and just stuck with my film study, I wouldn't be nervous about it. But this is the importance of reaching out to like-minded people. Now I'm second-guessing some of my ideas.
I wanted to ask you guys this question. Marta Prince says, FanDuel to score a knockdown. Higa minus 142. Vargas plus 440. Either of these bets intriguing to you guys?
Wow.
Yeah, Higa should. I mean, it's also not on BoxRec, but when he fought Takai, Higa knocked him down late in like the 11th round. That's not on BoxRec, but I remember watching that. You know, BoxRec doesn't always. That's why it's important to watch tape. You know, you can't just assume BoxRec has everything. Sometimes BoxRec is wrong. I catch it all the time where BoxRec has an orthodox fighter fighting southpaw or southpaw fighters fighting orthodox.
All the time. Yeah. Because I'll be watching tape and looking
all
at
the time.
This is not right. This is not right. Yeah.
Yeah. But Higa has more knockdowns on you know, that aren't listed on BoxRec. He knocks a lot of guys down. He's got heavy hands. So I think there's a very good chance that he knocks down somebody that's getting knocked down. I think Vargas has been knocked down like 4 times. So can he make it a 5th? Probably. You know.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I think there are 2 possible outcomes. I think Vargas by decision, and I think Higa by stoppage. And I would lean towards Vargas by decision. Vargas hasn't been stopped.
That's a heavy price too. Yeah. It's plus 500. I remember seeing.
Vargas by decision.
Yeah. I'm getting plus 520 down here.
I don't think he's gonna stop Higa. So like, what's the point of them taking you? Unless you guys see something I don't. Higa's got a chin on him.
Vargas has real power, and Vargas commits to his shots. I'm taking Vargas here on the money line. I'm not going to risk it over methodology getting better odds. I'm taking Vargas on the money line.
The thing I noticed with Higa is that he's a veteran at surviving. Every time he's been clipped, he's either great at clinching or he's great at using the ring, using the ropes, buying himself time. So he's not somebody that looks like he's going to go down easy. Vargas, you know, it doesn't seem like he has one punch power. He's kind of like grind you down with some combination punching. So I don't know. I think it would be a points victory personally. But
boys, I gotta run, man. Chill town.
All right. See you, Johnny. Take care.
Appreciate you, Johnny.
See you, brother.
Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for the insights as well, boys.
I just want to confirm you're taking Higa in that fight, right?
I'm taking Higa in that fight.
All right, no, that's fine. Yeah.
We'll see what happens, boys. I appreciate everybody here. Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, Johnny. Johnny says boxing. I'll link his channel. Guys, follow Johnny. You're taking who in this fight? Like, if you had to pick a winner.
I was still edged to Higa. Yeah, okay. But you know, that the retirement talk really, nothing bothers me more than a fighter missing weight. But the second thing, something bothers me is, you know, just almost up there is a fighter talking about retirement, especially when you're 29. That really, like, where's your focus at? But everything on tape, those are the variables outside the ring. The variables inside the ring, the tape tells me Higa should win this.
I did an interview with Josh Franco before the second Ioka fight, and he said that this was probably going to be it for him. I was like,
I remember that.
115, he's like, no, this is my last fight. I'm going to retire after this. I was like, what?
And he fought like it too, and he missed weight badly.
And fought like it, yeah.
Yeah, he missed weight badly. I remember that.
So I wanted to get Johnny's take, but we just missed him. How do we feel about this far parlay? Takami money line. Over 10.5 on Kenshiro. Is that something we can agree on?
That sounds. I mean, I think that's if you can ask me, most likely, you know, outcome. Yeah, I think so.
I got to get the people something. I got to get them something. I think Takami's definitely going to win. I just at minus 750.
I know it's a heavy price. Let me tell you something. FanDuel has it at minus 950. So
I don't.
But that's money moving it. It's money moving it. People are watching tape and then seeing what you and me had just talked about with Eric Rosa. Like, what is his path to victory? Putting on a boxing clinic for 12? He's never done that. He's never put on a boxing clinic past the 6th round. Now he's going to do it against the best opponent that he's facing. I mean,
how do we feel about Takami and his resume? His resume, it's not good.
It's not. But I got to go off performances, what I see with my eye. I got to trust my eye. I can't go off resume. If I went off records and resume, you know, I'd probably have a losing record.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you also have to factor in
quality of opponent. Yeah. But listen, Gary, I'll say this. Sometimes, you know, the quality of a loss sometimes is better than the quality of a win. And even though he didn't, I'm not saying Takami's losing. I'm saying the quality of Eric Rosa's wins have not impressed me. You know, they look good on BoxRec when you go on, but then when you watch the tape, I leave very disappointed. thinking when
No.
this kid steps up, and that's at 105, he's stepping up to 108 against a big 108 pounder. Like, everything's telling me, like, how is he going to pull this out the bag? I mean, prove me wrong, Eric Rosa, please. I have him in a parlay right now, so prove me wrong. But I'm probably going to cash out later today.
Yeah, I think Rosa is physically gifted. I think he's got good power, good speed. He's got excellent. I think he checks a lot of boxes, but it's just one of those things. Like I always said, like Tim Bradley, it's just the parts were greater than like the sum was greater than the parts. Like I couldn't really point to one or two things that made Bradley great, but he's just kind of put it all together. To me, Rosa's the opposite of that. Like the parts are greater than the sum. Like he checks all of these boxes. But then and I understand why he was so hyped, when he first turned pro. But then when he puts it in the ring, he's kind of just underwhelming. Like you said, he's lazy. He squares up and gets hit a lot.
He doesn't like getting hit either. Not that any fighter likes to get hit, but I don't like his reaction to getting hit. Some fighters get hit, like Virgil Ortiz. Like it doesn't matter. They embrace it. They're fine with that. Eric Rosa does not. Like he leaves a bad reaction, which if I'm seeing it, the judges are seeing it. So and the fighter's just gonna gain confidence while the fighter's seeing it in the reaction. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to lay any serious money on Eric Rosa here, and I see why the price is getting wide on Takami. I think Takami. I said it. I think Takami will probably stop him. If he doesn't, it'll probably be a win for Rosa, just going the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take Rosa because of the payout. I really did, and I just look at it. I can't bet on him. It's plus 475, which I think is great, but I can't see him winning. I just can't. I can't see it. I may throw a small bet on him because to me, they're disrespecting him. Rosa's a good fighter. Like he should not be plus 475 to anyone.
There's going to be live betting too. They will have live betting tomorrow, so that's always an option too. See how he's handling the pace. If he's going to win any rounds, it's going to be early. So if he's losing the early rounds, forget about it.
I think he's going to win rounds early. I don't think this is going to be one-sided at all. I think if you bet on Takami, especially in the first half of the fight, you're going to be holding your breath. Yeah. There's going to be some nervous moments. But I do think, like you said, I have it here. Like you said, I have it in my notes. Rosa, his volume drops and he fades later. It's so obvious.
He's got no power. The power thing's huge. Yeah, and then the over. I think, like I already explained, Teraji and Sandoval. I think that's gonna go over. I think that's gonna be a close nip and tuck battle. Sandoval's just got to get past the jab, but I haven't liked how Taraji's been looking. He's been going to war. How many times, especially at 33? That's old for this weight class. Yeah. How many wars are you gonna go with? And Sandoval loves a war, and he's fresh. He's young. He's hungry. Taraji's talking about Bam at 115. You better, you could easily fuck this up.
Yeah, Bam
he's at the end of his career.
By the way.
Oh, that's not even a question. Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't even know if he's going to get that fight because you already heard me explain it. I don't know if he's getting past Sandoval. I think El Nino's live here, especially if he can get on the inside and start working the body.
We'll see. I wanted to get the take because I know I got to end this soon. We got the other fight. I wanted your take on this. Duarte and Kenneth Sims. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Close fight. Really close fight. Close fight.
I was like, this is Duarte easy. I didn't like the way that Sims handled the pressure from Kendo Castaneda. Yeah. If Kendo Castaneda gave him problems, Duarte's going to eat him up. I'm watching the tape now. I'm not as impressed as I was with Duarte.
I would say don't read into the Kendo fight too much. They originally were supposed to fight back in November, and Sims pulled down. He had a knee injury. So this is now technically a rescheduled fight against Duarte. Mm-hmm. But they both have a common opponent recently against Akhmedov, who is very, very good. And I'll say this. I rewatched both of those fights, and I thought Duarte got a draw, 5-5, and I thought Sims won. I thought Sims did really well. And it's a similar style. I mean, he's a southpaw, but he's a pressure fighter, stocky, shorter, throws bombs. And Sims isn't that typical, black, slick fighter, uses the ring and his feet as an American. He sits in the pocket. And he's got great combination punching. He's smart. He knows where to put his punches. He digs the body. He's tough, man. He's strong. He's got a high boxing IQ. You're not going to see him on his bike. I think if he maintains center ring, he's better in the pocket than Duarte. Now, Duarte is very good when you're against the ropes. He's so physically strong. He can push you against the ropes and then lets his hands go. But I think it's going to turn into a war. And that's how Sims fights. You know, Sims not some pure boxer. Sims is he's a bad dude, man. He's nice with his hands. He's got fast hands. I think it's going to be a close fight.
It's also in Sims's backyard. It's in Chicago.
It's in Chicago.
Not a huge boxing commission there. What do you expect? Do you expect a horrible, bogus hometown decision if it's close?
Well,
I kind of do.
They're both promoted by Golden Boy. They're giving this as a homecoming for Sims. And what was I going to say? I just blanked. But and the price opened up at like minus 230 something, and now it went down to minus 160. I know on FanDuel. FanDuel opened it last week. I remember because I was cashing a slip at FanDuel, and I remember seeing on the board, I didn't even know the odds were on. I saw Duarte opened at minus 230. I'm like, oh. And then I looked this morning, he was at minus 160. Money has been moving towards Sims. People have been betting on the boss man. So I don't know what the line's going to be come fight night, but it's telling you that it's a 50-50 match.
So it tells me right now I have on DraftKings, I have Duarte at minus 155. I have Sims at plus 120. I like the over. I love the over on this fight, but I don't have a prop for that right now.
Yeah, that would make sense. They're both adorable. Sims got a good chin. He's got a really good chin. Duarte, of course, but he was stopped by Ryan Garcia. But since then, he's been on some great momentum. That's what makes it so even. Yeah,
he's looked really good. I mean, the Ryan Garcia fight, and he's not fighting Ryan Garcia, so but he's looked really, really good in his it's been 3 fights since the Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah. Now, the heavier hitter, I would say, is Duarte. Duarte, you hear his punches snap, right? He lands some like eye-catching work. But Sim has really nice combination punching too. I can see why this is so close. I've been hearing takes on both sides. So they both have a higher work rate. So, I'm going to have to get into the tape a little more on it because...
You can get Duarte to show up. Like, if you throw volume at him, you can get him to show up. He'll get in the high guard and he'll stay on the phone. Like, you can get him to show up. And that's kind of like... If Sims is the better athlete... If Sims is the heavier hitter and he's the busier fighter, it kind of gives me a clear path here for Sims, right?
I don't know if Sims the heavier hitter.
Yeah, he's probably not.
I don't know who's got the better chin. I think they both got good chins. I mean, this is the thing with Duarte. Duarte for a long time was fighting at 135. And I know with Ryan Garcia is practically a welterweight, right? I do know he brought him up. So you got to factor that in too. That kind of... I can't put too much weight into that fight, but Sims has been fighting his last 2 fights at welterweight. He's at 147. I know this is at 140, so he's coming back down. I think the size is probably comparable. Sims is probably a little bigger. I mean, they both have heavy hands. And Sims doesn't have the same amount of knockouts, but it's because Sims, I feel like, has been fighting a high level of competition. When you go up in competition, you're not getting the knockouts. You're fighting world-class fighters, right? Not that all his fighters are world-class, but they're very good. Like Alves Rodriguez, very good. This is a really close fight. And I see why the odds are so close. But
I'm going back and forth. It's just in our conversation. At first, I was going to say Duarte probably, then Sims. I'm getting back on the Duarte. This is a tough fight to bet, man.
I want to see. Now, this is a 12 round. I got to see. Would you favor in a 10 round? I think I would favor Sims. Being a 12 round, I might favor Duarte. I think Duarte is one of those fighters that starts slow and then gains momentum, comes on strong.
He does.
Yeah. So in that respect, you would favor him. I got to do a little digging. I got to see really who Golden Boy have a preference here on who they would want to win also because these rounds are going to be close. Golden Boy does
have some very, very questionable decisions.
Oh, you know they have, whether we know it or not yet, like they have in their mind who they think they would want to win here. Yeah. So we know the rounds are going to be close. This is a close bout. Like we're having problems right now picking a winner. Obviously, the odds say so on every single book. They're almost a pick 'em. Slightly leaning Duarte though. If I had to, like, you put me on the spot, I would say slightly leaning Duarte. But
would you bet? Would you bet the over? Does anyone have a book? Does anyone have a book on the over for this? I don't have a line on the over. Would you take the over?
I probably would. I don't think Sims has ever. I'm thinking, has Sims ever been down? I don't even think Sims has ever been down.
Yeah.
Nah, he's an adorable dude, bro. I don't think he's ever been down. Is Duarte really cracking like that? Maybe.
240. Carlos Vargas says on Bovada minus 240 over 10.5.
Yeah, that's a good parlay piece. Yeah,
I would take that.
Unless you think Duarte. I mean, if there's a stoppage, I could see it from Duarte, but
yeah, Duarte would stop Sims. Sims is not stopping Duarte, but it depends. It depends how Sims fights. If Sims just sits in and trades with him, a stoppage is possible, right? It is.
He's gonna trade with him though. That's his style. That's Sim's style. Yeah, he's not back foot boxing here. He'll stand in the pocket and control. He's got a nice jab. He likes to take center ring. And Duarte can't do shit center ring. He's not a better boxer than Sims. That's the problem. Duarte likes to muscle you, push you back, get you on the ropes, let off his combination.
Back it up.
Yeah. But if you got a jab in his face like Sims, and he's, hitting you with the uppercut, the right, touching your body, moving now, resetting you, but how long can he do that for? That's where I'm saying 10 rounds. I could say, okay, yeah, I could see him doing it 5 or 6. He'll get a decision. But when you got 12 rounds, Duarte's mean, man. So you can only keep him off so long. That's why I got to do more tape and see. Yeah, I got to do more tape before I really go heavy on this, because I think there could be good money to be made. You just got to figure out where.
All right, I'm going to ask you again as we get closer. I'm doing a film breakdown now. I'm going to release my breakdown, my prediction on this tonight. I still got to watch some more tape on this. I'm leaning just ever so closely towards Duarte. I was trying to hope for the props to come out, because I would just say bet the over. I do like the over. I think this thing is going into the cards. That's probably my best bet. But if I have to pick a winner, I guess I'm going Duarte. But I started watching the tape this morning. Before I started watching the tape, just off the top of my head, I said Duarte wins this. And now watching the tape, I guess he wins. My confidence have gone down from 70% to 51%.
Well, what did you see that changed it?
Duarte shells up. Duarte could lose rounds, right? Sims could win rounds on volume. Duarte's movement is also not as good as I thought it was. I thought he was a little better on the inside avoiding shots. It's really just blocking shots, and he's not really a catch and shoot guy. He's really not. He's kind of you go, I go.
He's got a nice high guard, but he catches everything off the high guard. So you're not really leaning clean on.
And there's no catch and counter. It's just block. Yeah.
Yeah. He needs you to be stationary. So, like I said, if he's got you on the ropes, then he can let his hands go. I don't know if Sims is going to allow that.
Sims should pick his spots to trade, but Sims should use the ring. If Sims could keep him center ring, now I'm selling myself back on Sims. Now I kind of think Sims can win this fight. This is a tough fight, man.
I always love a pressure fighter, so I'm a little biased, I guess, towards Duarte.
I prefer the pressure fighter too.
They'll fight for your money, so that's why typically they'll fight for your money. But Sims is the more skilled fighter here, and he knows what to do in the pocket, so it's a good style matchup. I know why Sims has been calling for this. Sims has been telling Golden Boy he wanted the Duarte fight. So he's got a level of confidence here. He sees something where he says, I can beat this kid. Give me Duarte. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll talk though. We'll talk. I'm leaving in a few days. I'm going to be away, but I'm trying to put my bet in soon. So, we'll talk, because I want to figure this out and get it right.
All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks for jumping on. It's always appreciated.
Thanks for having me. Always.
All right.
See you guys. Good. Everyone in the chat.
I'm going to wrap this up. Shout out Johnny. Shout out Chilltown. It's July 29th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.
Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3D Boxing is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.